Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's so good to be live again and seeing you as much as I can see you while not actually seeing you. But I'm super excited because, you know, after it's been like 4 weeks, maybe five actually weeks in Poland. Yeah, it's 5 weeks in Poland since we had a full-on lockdown, and you probably have gone through the same process of just enjoying the time of taking the chance to just relax and not do anything. And I think it's very much needed, and I think we all actually benefit from just not doing things. But I got to the point when I was like, you know what, enough is enough. And it's great that I have a chance to rest and not really do much because there are no external distractions. But truth is, like, I have certain goals in my life. I have certain desires, dreams, and normally every day I do something to help me reach those goals. And I realized that I'm actually becoming way too lazy, and I am not dedicating enough time and energy into what truly matters. So the reason why I'm doing this Facebook Live, and there'll be lots of content that I'll be sharing in the next few weeks or so, is because I want to help you also focus on things that are important and things that you want in long term, things that you want in long term. So let's take advantage of this lockdown. Let's train ourselves in the aspects of our lives that really matter. And what I want to talk about today is the non-ejaculation practice for men. So I actually have worked with men in, whether it's through programs, one-on-one sessions, coaching, for I think about 5 years now, guiding men through these different practices to master the. Over time, I have seen um, men with different motivations, with different bodies, different blockages, different desires, different struggles, and different talents going through this process. And I have also experienced this as the receiver of this practice, as the lover. So my lovers in the last 4 years, basically most, like 99% of them, do practice non-ejaculation. So I can also give the perspective of a woman. So having seen that, having spoken to so many men about this, there are two things that I've noticed. Number one is that it's becoming more and more popular for men to be even interested in this. And I think that's amazing. I think when I was first getting into this topic, like the whole idea was like a conspiracy theory, basically. Like, no, people are like, what are you talking about? Even if you wanted to learn anything about it, it was almost impossible. Like at the time when I started teaching this, I think I was like one of the first women teaching this in general. Until today, hardly any woman talks about it. But still, I think there are just like maybe one or two, three, okay, like three other teachers I knew that were like actually teaching this specifically for men. But today it's a common thing, and I think it's amazing. I know women who want a man who doesn't ejaculate, but they don't live in a tantric community like me, or they don't necessarily want to change their lifestyle and become a yogini, and they're like, well, where am I going to find a man like this? And the answer is, you guys are everywhere, and I love that. But there's the downside that happens when we commercialize, or when something becomes very popular, it gets expanded. And that downside is the fact that we get the quantity over quality. So we have more and more men that have heard of the idea, that have interest in trying, or even tried in some way with the practice. But unfortunately, the quality of the teachings is not what it used to be. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because I have spoken to a lot of men who are extremely proud of their accomplishment. For example, telling me that they have not ejaculated in 2 years. But when I ask them, have you had an orgasm in these 2 years? The answer is also no. So what I've noticed is men approaching this whole idea from a very different perspective, which is not really how you want to look at it. So most men, the way they understand non-ejaculation is that it's a forceful retention. What I mean by this is that it becomes more like the edging practice. So if you ever, were curious to read more about this, then you probably picked up the book Multi-Orgasmic Men by Mantak Chia, which I think it's probably the best book indeed to pick up to read about this. But even there, the majority of the conversation is around pressing the special point at your perineum that manages to block the flow of the sperm. So if you think about this, it's actually tension. It's like it's hard work, it's like you're building up the energy and then you're forcing yourself to keep the semen in. It becomes a forceful retention. And I often have men asking me, well, what's the difference between non-ejaculation and edging? Well, that's the thing. That's the whole problem, is that for many men, non-ejaculation equals edging, but it's not the same. Edging is like a part of the process of non-ejaculation and not even exactly that. So as long as you approach non-ejaculation from this perspective, then you won't be having orgasm. And then it becomes another chore. You become so tense because all of the forceful retention is about tensing your body. So now you're tensing during lovemaking, which means you cannot fully relax, you cannot release any stress, you cannot drop into pleasure, and you're not getting orgasm. And what's more, another issue that comes with this is that if you're so focused on just don't ejaculate, which is what often happens, what happens is that you become obsessed with a goal. Now, women complain that men are all focused about ejaculation and it feels like a goal. Well, now that becomes a goal. I cannot ejaculate, I need to keep it in. And as long as you're so strongly focused on that, then you're not present with your lover. So yesterday I posted a little poll around my social media asking men, what is your intention for doing this practice of non-ejaculation? Or if you were to start it, what would be your intention? And the vast majority said that it's to be a better lover, to last longer, but to be a better lover for their partner. So now if you're approaching non-ejaculation from this perspective that I need to forcefully keep it in, then you may actually become a worse lover because you're less present with your woman. Now, there is even more that happens when you do this. So because you're tensing and all of your techniques and your strategies to keep the ejaculation in, because they're all based on tension and strength and holding it, what happens is that you create tension in the genital area. That can give you discomfort, that can give you pain, and that gives you blue balls. Now, I also have quite a few men tell me that they're really conflicted about this because they have heard from doctors that it's actually not good. It's not healthy for men not to ejaculate, that you should for your health, for your well-being. Well, this is where it will make sense for you. Because when you practice non-ejaculation as forceful retention only, then you are indeed putting a lot of pressure in your genital area, and that indeed can be bad. So if you have all of this tension building up, absolutely, you should actually go and ejaculate. So that's what sometimes happens with men. They do this practice of non-ejaculation for a while, and it builds up tension in their genital area, and then they get blue balls, they get a lot of pain, they cannot walk. Maybe you can relate to this. And so then I just have to come because of the tension that's being built up in my body. So you want to actually look at the whole thing from a different perspective. So the ejaculation control as a practice, as a lifestyle, as a way of making love to your partner is not about tensing your body, and it's not about taking away your pleasure. You are meant to be having orgasm and deep pleasure. That's kind of the whole thing here, is that all you're doing is separating ejaculation from an orgasm. Now, you want to be able to stop ejaculation, but you don't want to stop the orgasm. If you don't experience pleasure from this practice, you're not going to have the motivation to continue doing the practice. It's like, no wonder that men struggle with this, because you're like, well, what's the point? It's like, I'm not enjoying sex as much as I used to. It's difficult, because it requires tension, it requires your focus. It's difficult. And, if you're not doing those right techniques, then you're not actually lasting as long. You probably need to pause a lot. And then your partner is not actually getting any extra satisfaction from that. So it kind of becomes a bit of, kind of pointless practice. I'll just say that, So to me, the most important thing is that non-ejaculation is not meant to take away the fun. It's not meant to take away pleasure, and it's not meant to take away relaxation. But this is exactly what I meant at the beginning when I said that we have quantity over quality. We have more and more men experimenting with the practice of ejaculation control, more and more people teaching this. But unfortunately, usually those teachings that are missing a very important part of the process. What you have probably gotten so far is step number one, is phase one of everything. And it's about keeping the energy inside of your body. So not allowing the ejaculation to come out. And that's kind of what we say, right? Ejaculation control, non-ejaculation. Isn't it all about that? But there is actually another step, the second step, or a second phase in the process that almost no one is talking about right now. So as long as you're just focusing, as long as you're only practicing the step number one, no wonder that it's so hard for you to maintain this practice. No wonder that you may not be getting the results that you wanted to get, that inspired you to start this technique. So tomorrow I will share with you the missing step, step number two. So today I wanted to share with you how we look at the whole non-ejaculation in a limited perspective. And from that perspective, like I said, it's no wonder that men are not actually feeling the results that you read about, that you wanted to experience. You know, it's no wonder that so many men drop the practice because of how this whole concept has been presented to you. So it's not your fault. You just need to know the whole process and be properly guided through that. So tomorrow, I will share with you this missing step two. I will give you the full process of how to approach non-ejaculation so that, yes, you can keep the ejaculation in, but also too, so you can actually have those deep, full body energy, multiple orgasms. Because that's kind of why you want to do the whole practice. So tune in tomorrow. I'll have reminders, I'll post about it. So tomorrow, I'm going to reveal to you the full process of non-ejaculation. So my love, stay tuned. Today, this is it. I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day, but I'm hoping to see you tomorrow. So let's take it day by day, step by step, giving you the full process so that you can properly master the whole concept of non-ejaculation and yes, become the amazing lover, last longer, contain your vital force, use it if you want to for your spiritual practice or channel it into any other project. Last longer, have more fun during sex, do whatever you want with this. So thank you so much for tuning live and I will see you guys tomorrow. Mwah.